Hi there, this is Kevin Jones, Executive Director of SACIA. I'm sure by now everybody knows that today is the day Minister Nathi Mthethwa addressed the country and spoke about COVID relief for the cultural and creative industry. Good news for the broadcast industry, able to go back to work, but not such good news for other creative sectors. One of the challenges is that about 90% of the applicants that had submitted a request for COVID relief have not met the criteria, primarily because they had provided incomplete or inaccurate information. He spoke about the fact that the department is engaging with other associations in order to find a solution to this particular problem. And for those SACIA members, you'll be pleased to know that we are one of the organisations working closely with the Department of Sports, Art and Culture. And so hopefully we'll be able to provide you with an update on what's happening in the next few days. Good news, however, for the broadcast industry. Back to work today. The prohibition is lifted on organisations involved in filming content, producing commercials, producing entertainment for broadcast and live streaming. This includes jobs throughout the value chain. So not only broadcasters, but also people involved in post-production, in audio, in graphics, in animation, and all of the other disciplines and crafts that make up the broadcast industry. All of the standard COVID-19 safety practices that would normally apply will apply to individuals working in the broadcast industry, but the Minister did announce an additional 12 measures that are specific to the broadcast industry. One of them is that there needs to be high visibility of an organization's COVID-19 mitigation and prevention plan. This isn't just about having a plan that's on a piece of paper. It's about creating signage that is on display in highly visible environments so that there is absolutely no excuse. Everybody on a film and television set needs to be aware of the threat that COVID-19 poses to the creative and cultural industry. In addition, also needs to be a compliance officer on set at all times. There has to be a daily routine to prepare the workspace. So every morning it needs to be sanitized, there needs to be dedicated cleaning staff, and the environment needs to be closed or cleaned before it closes up for the end of the day. There needs to be a daily register of persons that are on set, and each person needs to have their temperature monitored so that you can identify any changes in temperature and perhaps pick up illness fairly early. Other things that need to happen, the production company needs to provide cast and crew with transport to and from the set. They are individual cast and crew members are encouraged to use their own vehicles, but if they don't have their own vehicle, then the production company is responsible for providing transport. Catering, no longer a kind of a communal free-for-all. So catering needs to be provided in separate boxes with sealed cutlery so that you minimize the potential for the spread of infection. No shared spaces, so catering areas distinct from any areas taken up by the craftspeople working on the film and television set, and then a maximum of 50 people on a production set that includes both cast and crew. So total of 50 people, no more than that, and also a prohibition on late night production. There's a standard curfew that runs from 8 p.m. every night to 5 a.m. the next morning, so no opportunities for late work. Water bottles need to be provided to all cast and crew members. Obviously, no live audience. And then a kicker at the end of the Minister's presentation, storylines on programs scheduled for broadcast adapted to support the fight against the COVID-19 virus. So some very important and I think significant pardon me, measures that production companies and broadcast studios need to put in place. I thought I would just give you a quick comparison. The European Film Commission's network in Europe has put together a document called the 10 Commandments for Film Safety. So this has been adopted locally by the South African Society of Cinematographers, and their requirements are very, very similar. The only difference between The European recommendations and the South African, actually, that neither of them are the recommendations. So guidelines is that in Europe they require a COVID test for all cast and crew members before production can start. But very similar to the kind of the strategies that have been introduced in South Africa. I've just given you a quick summary, but we are going to be discussing this in more depth later in the week. We're hosting a webinar with a number of other key stakeholders on Thursday at 11 o'clock. I'll post the registration link to the webinar in the text below. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions and you'd like to ask them during the webinar that we're hosting on Thursday, please send them through to me. We're looking for questions that look at the practical rollout of a COVID-19 risk prevention and mitigation plan. What are your concerns, and what do you need to see on a film television production set in order to ensure that all of the cast and crew can do their job in a safe and practical work environment? It's going to be a great presentation on Thursday. I hope you found this useful. Thanks very much.